Ladies and gentlemen, sons and daughters of destiny, before the world taught you what to fear, heaven already knew what you were born to conquer. And before you ever open your eyes in the morning, there is a war either won or lost in the silence of the night. Your nighttime is heaven's prime time. It is not just the end of your day. It is the divine beginning of your becoming. The world teaches you that night is for rest, for shutting off, for escaping the noise of the day. But heaven sees the night differently. It is not where you retreat, it is where you reset. Night is not a pause, it is a platform. It is not a closing chapter, it is the preparation room for your next one. When the world winds down, the realm of the spirit activates. And if you miss this, you miss the most powerful time to influence your destiny. You see, your night determines your morning, and your morning shapes your movement. Many people rise defeated because they slept defeated. They laid down in fear and they woke up in confusion. But when you understand the power of your nighttime, you will never go to bed casually again. Every night is a seed you plant into your subconscious garden. What you plant at night will grow silently while you sleep. That is why your thoughts before sleep are not random. They are prophetic. They are programming your spirit for what comes next. Heaven is not waiting for daylight to speak to you. Heaven moves best when you are still, when your soul is quiet and your body is at rest. That is the moment when spiritual downloads happen. That's when divine alignment takes place. But you must prepare your atmosphere. You must set the temperature of your night. You can't go to bed with fear and expect to wake up with faith. You can't fall asleep meditating on anxiety and expect to rise with peace. You must take authority over your night. God created night and called it good. It's not something to fear, it's something to steward. When He formed creation, the pattern was always. And morning, that means your day begins in the evening. It begins in darkness, in the unseen. And the quality of that unseen moment decides the fruit of your seen day. So don't treat nighttime as a leftover. Treat it as the launch pad. This is the time when you align your spirit, when you speak truth over your soul, when you shut out the world and tune into eternity. This is the time when your authority must rise. Authority doesn't begin when you step into the world. It begins when you speak in the secret place. Every night is a moment to reclaim territory that was lost during the day. It's your opportunity to reaffirm who you are, not based on what happened today, but based on what was declared over your life before you were born. When you sleep with purpose, you rise with clarity. When you sleep with truth, you rise with power. The night is not passive. It is potent. Heaven angels are on assignment. Dreams are being given. Visions are being stirred. While your body sleeps, your spirit is receiving. But only if it's open. Only if it's been aligned with the voice of truth. Too many people go to bed letting the news be their lullaby, letting worry be their final meditation, letting social media be their final image. That's not how kings sleep. That's not how rulers rest. Kings go to bed with vision. They sleep under the weight of purpose. They lay down in dominion, not in defeat. This is heaven's prime time. It is when heaven wants to speak, heal, reveal, and reset your inner world. It's when instruction is given for your next assignment. It's when you receive strategies you couldn't hear in the noise of the day. That's why you must prepare your ears, your heart, and your thoughts before sleep. This is not just self-care. This is kingdom protocol. It is spiritual intelligence. It is wisdom in motion. Think of every night as a courtroom. You are not just sleeping, you are making declarations. You are handing over cases to the judge of the universe. You are reminding your mind that you are not governed by emotion. You are governed by revelation. You are not a prisoner of your past. You are a steward of your future. And the way you seal your day determines how heaven seals your spirit. Your bed is not just for sleep. It's an altar. It's a throne room. It's a sacred space where your words meet eternity and write blueprints for your tomorrow. You must take your night seriously. Because that is when the next version of you is formed. Not by struggle, but by surrender. Not by striving, but by speaking. What you listen to, what you say, and what you believe every night determines what kind of life you will wake up into. Your words are architects, not echoes. They are not meant to reflect what is. They are designed to construct what will be. Most people speak like mirrors, only repeating what they see. But those who walk in purpose don't speak as reporters. They speak as builders. Every word that comes out of your mouth is laying bricks for your future. And if you don't understand the power of your words, you will unknowingly participate in the construction of a life you do not desire. You were never meant to echo fear. You were born to declare destiny. Life and death are not in circumstances, they are in the tongue. And if your tongue is confused, your future will be chaotic. If your words are lazy, your life will be directionless. Because speech is not simply sound. It is strategy, it's the invisible tool that shapes visible results. When you speak from pain, you repeat cycles. But when you speak from vision, you initiate transformation. Words are not just vibrations in the air. They are containers of power. Every time you open your mouth, you either build or break, plant or poison, align or drift. Many people blame the devil for what their tongue created. They're living in prisons built by their own vocabulary. You cannot speak limitation and live in abundance. You cannot curse your life with your tongue and expect your spirit to rise. You must begin to speak as one who knows they have been sent, not one who is still searching for who they are. Your words reveal whether you are living from memory or from revelation. Memory repeats the past. Revelation builds the future. When you only speak what happened, you chain your life to history. But when you speak what is promised, you call forth destiny. That's why your daily language must come from your identity, not your insecurity. You don't speak what you feel. You speak what you've been told by truth. The kingdom says, say what I said. Because faith does not echo the environment, it overrides it. You were made in the image of a creator who spoke galaxies into existence. That divine DNA is in you. That means when you speak, something forms. When you declare, something shifts. When you align your words with truth, you unlock spiritual architecture. You become a living blueprint of heaven's intention. Your speech becomes sacred. Your vocabulary becomes prophetic. You are no longer just describing life, you are directing it. So don't just speak casually. Don't use your mouth as a trash can for doubt, fear, and self-hatred. Use it as a tool of creation. Declare things that sound too big for your history, but are perfectly sized for your destiny. Say things like, I am chosen, even if you feel overlooked. Say, I am royalty, even if your life still looks ordinary. Speak, I am whole, even when pain still lingers in your body. Because your words are not reports, they are declarations. You're not reporting for news, you're building for purpose. Heaven listens to the voice of agreement. It responds not just to prayer, but to positioning. If your mouth is always contradicting what your spirit knows, you delay what is already yours. You cannot walk in what you continually reject with your words. Even angels move at the sound of divine speech. So how can you expect supernatural help if your vocabulary keeps inviting defeat? Speak like you carry weight. Speak like your words will become rooms you live in tomorrow. Because they will. What you're speaking now will be what surrounds you later. Don't just say what sounds good. Say what aligns with truth, even when your emotions disagree, even when your circumstances shout back. Keep building, keep declaring, keep shaping with your speech. Because your words were not given to you for echo, they were given to you for authority. You're not called to repeat what culture says. You're not here to mimic fear. You are here to establish, to decree, to plant and build. Let your mouth become a sanctuary of vision. Let your language become a temple of truth. Let every word you speak be a brick in the palace of your purpose. You are not an echo. You are an architect. So speak like one. The last voice you hear shapes the first battle you win. Your mind is not a blank canvas when you wake up. It is a battlefield already in motion. And what you allow into your soul before you sleep determines what rises in you when the morning comes. Many people wake up weary not because they are physically tired, but because they went to sleep without covering their spirit. They fell asleep to chaos and woke up to confusion. They let the voice of fear tuck them in and wondered why peace was absent when they rose. You must understand that nighttime is not a break from warfare. It's where most battles are won before they're ever fought. The enemy is not afraid of your alarm clock. He's afraid of what your heart agreed with before it went to rest. Because whatever has the final word at night often has the first influence in the morning. That's why you don't just sleep, you surrender. And if you surrender to the wrong voice, you will rise with the wrong vision. The last voice you hear becomes your spiritual compass. It aligns your inner world before your outer world even begins to move. You can go to bed in a storm and still rise in peace if the last voice you heard was the voice of truth. You can lay down surrounded by uncertainty and yet wake up with clarity if the last thing you agreed with was purpose, not panic. But if you go to bed letting social media have the final say, if you let the news define your night, if you let disappointment write your lullaby, then you are handing the enemy a blueprint for your battle. That's why you must be intentional. Your nighttime is sacred. Your soul is most vulnerable in the transitions between waking and sleeping, between consciousness and dreams. And the voice you give access to in those moments becomes your silent teacher. It trains your expectations. It shapes your identity. It either affirms your assignment or distracts you from it. And the greatest tragedy is not that people are defeated in the morning. It's that they surrendered in the night without knowing it. The Spirit of God does not stop speaking when the lights go out. In fact, some of the greatest revelations, ideas, confirmations, and divine instructions are released in the stillness of the night. But the question is, have you created space for that voice to be the last one? Have you honored it enough to let it echo in your sleep? Or have you replaced it with the noise of worry, entertainment, and exhaustion? If you want to rise with authority, you must rest with intention. If you want to win the battles of the day, you must choose the voice that governs your night. Let that be the voice of life, the voice of the Word, the voice of the Spirit that calls you more than a conqueror, even while you are lying still. Because when your final thought is truth, your first thought is strength. When the last voice is identity, the first instinct is victory. You don't need to wake up trying to remember who you are when you go to bed already anchored in it. You don't need to wake up looking for hope when you laid down full of it. That's why the voice you choose matters. It's not about volume, it's about agreement. What you agree with in those final moments becomes a contract your soul carries into the next day. So what are you signing before sleep? Who are you listening to? What truths are you meditating on? Do not underestimate the power of this rhythm. It is not a small thing to guard your nighttime. It is warfare in silence. It is strategy in surrender. It is preparation in rest. The voice you choose to close your day with is the voice that will open your destiny tomorrow. Make it count. Choose the voice that tells you you're chosen. Choose the voice that reminds you you're not alone. Choose the voice that sees the end from the beginning and still calls you victorious. Because when the last voice you hear is from the throne, the first battle you face is already won. Night is the time to program your spirit for dominion. Not for survival, not for emotional escape, not for numbing distraction. Dominion. It is the sacred window when your body releases control, but your spirit remains fully accessible. And if you understand this, you'll never see nighttime as ordinary again. It's not a time to collapse, it's a time to recalibrate. It's not a shutdown, it's a spiritual setup. Because while your body is sleeping, your spirit is absorbing. And what it absorbs determines what you walk in when the sun rises. This is why intentional people don't just fall asleep. They program their inner man. They know that dominion is not something you perform into. It's something you align with internally. You cannot walk in rulership publicly if you live in chaos privately. And the most powerful alignment begins in the dark hours of the night, when the noise fades and your words, thoughts, and beliefs echo the loudest in your soul. You were created for rulership, not reaction. But dominion is not loud, it's not emotional. It's quiet agreement with heaven that manifests in boldness, clarity, and spiritual precision. And the best time to align with it is when the distractions are turned off. When the world stops demanding your attention. When you can finally focus your spirit toward your divine assignment and remind yourself that you are not what happened today. You are what heaven declared before today began. Nighttime is not a void to fill with entertainment. It is an altar to recalibrate your authority. The same way a king never ends his day without consulting his council and reaffirming his agenda. You must not end your day without confirming your identity. Say it before sleep. Speak it until your soul memorizes it. Repeat it until your subconscious believes it. That you are a ruler. That you are seated in heavenly places. That the earth is not your master but your assignment. That lack, fear, sickness, and confusion do not have the final word over you. Because you were born to subdue, not to survive. Too many people go to bed in emotional reaction mode. They let their day write their confession. They let the problems of others set their mindset. But your dominion cannot come from reaction. It must come from revelation. You have to go to bed under the influence of truth, not trends. Dominion is a result of right belief. And belief is formed when repetition becomes revelation. That's why what you hear, say, and meditate on before sleep is not just spiritual, it's strategic. It's programming the very core of who you are. When kings sleep, they don't stop ruling. They govern in silence. They rise with strategy. They do not let rest become weakness. They let it become warfare. That's how your night must function. Speak as one with authority. Program your mind with the word, not the world. Meditate on assignment, not anxiety. Visualize victory, not vengeance. Don't go to sleep consumed by what didn't happen. Lay down in faith for what's about to manifest. Before you sleep, reprogram your atmosphere. Turn your room into a sanctuary, not a graveyard of broken thoughts. Turn off the voices of fear and turn up the sound of truth. Let your playlist be filled with vision. Let your declarations be loud enough for your future to hear. Speak over your finances. Speak over your health. Speak over your relationships. Speak over your purpose, not begging, declaring. Not wondering, ruling. Because dominion is not just walking boldly. It's sleeping with clarity. It's resting with confidence. It's knowing that heaven is working while your hands are still. Dominion is the peace of knowing that the King of Kings has handed you keys to a kingdom, and you don't have to strive for what you already carry. But to walk in that, your spirit must be trained to believe it. And that training happens best when the lights go out and your soul leans in. You are not just a person trying to survive your week. You are an ambassador of heaven, a citizen of the kingdom, a ruler over the environment around you. But you will never manifest what you haven't first believed. And you will never believe what you don't continually hear. So before you sleep, speak. Before you rest, declare. Before you close your eyes, open your mouth and program your inner world to agree with dominion. Because your next season will only rise to the level your spirit is prepared to rule. And the night is your training ground. Repetition is the womb of transformation. It is not just a habit. It is heaven's technology for renewing the mind and reprogramming the soul. What you hear again and again is not just entering your memory. It is shaping your identity. It's not simply information. It's formation. Every time you repeat truth, you're digging trenches in your belief system. Every time you declare purpose, you're engraving destiny into your subconscious. And what's engraved cannot be easily erased. That is why repetition is not religious. It is revolutionary. You do not become what you hear once. You become what you hear until it becomes a part of you. Until your inner world stops resisting it and starts recognizing it. That's the secret to transformation, not hearing something new, but hearing something eternal until it becomes your default response. You're not changed by inspiration alone. You're changed by immersion. And immersion only comes by repetition. The world is loud with repetition. It repeats fear, it repeats lack, it repeats limitation. And if you're not repeating truth, you're unconsciously agreeing with lies. That's why transformation is not about hearing something good once a week. It's about flooding your inner life with truth until the lies have nowhere to hide, until anxiety has no landing place, until inferiority has no resting spot, until doubt loses its grip because faith has been fed again and again. Every time you speak life, it's a seed. But when you speak it again and again, it becomes a root. Roots hold you. Roots ground you. Roots make you unshakable. And only repetition can build roots. That's why you can hear a word once and feel inspired, but you need to hear it repeatedly to be changed. It has to echo so deeply in your spirit that when the pressure hits, you don't have to search for confidence. It rises automatically. God designed your mind to respond to what it sees often and what it hears often. Repetition trains the brain to believe. That's why advertisers use it. That's why culture uses it. But heaven used it first. Meditate on it day and night. That's divine repetition. That's how you build a life not based on emotion but on revelation. That's how you rise with consistency, even when conditions fluctuate. Because what's been repeated in your inner life becomes louder than what's being shouted around you. Repetition is not boring, it's building. It's the slow, steady laying of bricks in the house of your future. Every declaration of identity, every affirmation of truth, every confession of faith, even if it feels routine, is carving new pathways in your mind and new capacity in your spirit. You may not see the change overnight, but like water shaping stone, it's happening silently, supernaturally. That's why what you listen to every night matters. It's not just background noise, it's blueprint. It's not just soothing, it's structuring. What you fall asleep to becomes part of what you wake up believing. And the more you repeat truth at night, the more natural it becomes to walk in authority during the day. Because the goal is not to memorize truth. The goal is to become it. And you become it by hearing it until you can't doubt it anymore. Even Jesus said, "Let these words sink deep into your ears." Not surface level inspiration, but soul level saturation. Until your mind shifts, your language changes, your behavior aligns, and your spirit stabilizes. Until you no longer ask, "Can I become this?" And you start saying, "This is who I've always been." This is why repetition is a weapon. You don't fight fear once, you confront it daily with truth. You don't speak life one time and expect fruit forever. You water the seed with repetition. That's what breaks cycles. That's what uproots trauma. That's what dismantles strongholds. Not moments, but movements. And movements are born through repeated acts of intentional agreement with heaven. So don't despise the process. Don't grow weary in saying it again. Don't silence yourself because you don't see instant results. Keep speaking. Keep listening. Keep declaring. Because repetition is doing something deeper than emotion. It's birthing transformation. And what's being formed in secret will soon be revealed in power. Sleep is not an escape. It's a covenant moment. It is not the shutting down of your day. It is the sealing of your agreement with heaven. Most people treat sleep as a break, a way to disconnect from the pressure and pain of the day. But for those who understand the weight of their purpose, sleep is not detachment. It is divine transaction. You are not just falling into unconsciousness. You are entering a sacred space where your spirit is still active, your soul is open, and heaven is listening. Sleep is not just natural, it is spiritual. It's the space between what you've done and what God is about to do. It's the bridge between your declarations and your manifestations. And that's why what you carry into sleep matters. You don't carry your frustrations. You don't carry the voice of failure. You carry faith. You carry expectation. You carry identity. Because sleep is the place where your last thoughts become seeds and your dreams become instructions. Every night, heaven waits for agreement. Not performance, agreement. The covenant is not about striving, it's about alignment. And when you lie down in covenant, you don't just rest, you rule. You don't just recover, you receive. You enter a dimension where your spirit communes with truth beyond language. And even while your eyes are closed, your future is listening. Because covenant doesn't need your full awareness, just your surrender, just your yes. Some people use sleep to forget. But you must learn to use sleep to remember, to rehearse what God has spoken, to replay what truth has declared, to reset your inner world until peace becomes the atmosphere of your dreams. When you understand that sleep is holy, you begin to treat it with reverence. You don't end your day carelessly. You enter your rest intentionally. You sanctify the space with worship, with declaration, with vision. Because what you release in that final hour becomes your covenant offering for the night. In covenant, you don't sleep as a victim. You sleep as a vessel. You don't sleep with dread. You sleep with dominion. You know that angels are working. You know that heaven is arranging. You know that even in your stillness, your assignment is being nurtured. That's why the psalmist said, he gives his beloved sleep. That sleep isn't just comfort, it's confirmation. A sign that you are under divine covering, that your steps are ordered, that your purpose is intact. When your sleep is covered by covenant, you wake up with insight. Ideas come in dreams. Solutions come in the night. Deliverance comes in silence. What others labor for during the day, you receive in the stillness of sleep because you are not disconnected. You are aligned. And alignment releases acceleration. Covenant makes sleep a sanctuary where your spirit is trained to believe even when your mind is unaware. Sleep is not just recovery, it's reinforcement. It's not a pause in your progress. It's preparation for the next dimension. While you sleep in covenant, your faith is being sharpened. Your discernment is being calibrated. Your inner man is being fortified. And this is why you must not allow anything toxic to follow you into your rest. No fear, no bitterness, no regret. You must cast those things out and replace them with truth, with promises, with vision. Because what you permit in the night often becomes what you struggle with in the light. You are not helpless in sleep. You are hidden. You are not unconscious. You are covered. And you are not drifting. You are being developed. When you go to sleep with a heart aligned to heaven, even your dreams become tools of transformation. Instructions come. Healing flows. Identity is reaffirmed. And when you wake up, you don't just rise, you emerge with strategy, with peace, with clarity. This is the mystery of covenant sleep. It is the sacred pause that gives birth to power. It is where your weakness is met with grace, your confusion is answered with wisdom, and your fears are replaced with vision. You may be still, but heaven is never idle. And when you truly understand that, you will never again treat sleep as a passive moment. You will honor it, prepare for it, speak into it, because it's more than rest. It's relationship. It's covenant. Let me tell you something. You were never designed to live life accidentally. You were never created to survive the night and stumble through the day. No, you were born for rulership, born for dominion, born to command, not to conform. And if you truly understand what has been spoken to you tonight, then you know that your nighttime is not the end of the story. It is the birthplace of your becoming. Every night, Heaven gives you the opportunity to agree with your assignment. Every night is a divine reset, a moment to realign with your original design. It is the time when kings speak to their tomorrow, when visionaries declare in the dark what they will manifest in the light. Your sleep is not an escape, it's your strategy. It's your moment to program your spirit, to declare your identity, and to repeat truth until transformation becomes your nature. You see, purpose doesn't start with daylight. It starts with revelation. And revelation comes in the silence. Dominion is not a performance, it is a mindset. And that mindset is forged in the quiet hours when no one is watching, but heaven is listening. Your spirit was not made to echo fear. It was created to architect the future. And the words you speak before you close your eyes are not just sounds. They are seeds that instruct the next season. So from this night forward, don't treat your evening like a casual routine. Treat it like a kingdom ritual. Speak life. Declare identity. Align with destiny. Because when you lay your head down in truth, you rise in power. When you rest with vision, you wake up with victory. The last voice you hear should be the voice that reminds you, you are not ordinary, you are not lost, you are not empty. You are an ambassador of a kingdom that cannot be shaken. Sleep, my friend, is sacred. It's not the absence of purpose. It's the preparation of purpose. It's not weakness. It's wisdom. And when you begin to listen to this truth every night, your life will no longer reflect your past. It will begin to manifest your assignment. Because the most powerful transformation doesn't happen while you're striving. It happens while you're surrendering. And I declare from this night forward, you will not just sleep. You will seal covenant. You will not just rest, you will reign. And when you rise each morning, you will not ask, what will this day bring me? You will rise and declare, what will I bring to this day? Because you are a child of the King, and the King never sleeps without purpose. Neither will you.